latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good Thursday evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window, and a fantastic fall day once again out there. A little bit of haze that's partly from prescribed burns and also partly from the Chumyan fire that we'll tell you about here in a second. But all in all, what a great day with temperatures in the mid-60s. And it will change. In fact, not so much temperature-wise, but we will see those winds pick up, especially on Friday and into Saturday, where we could see wind gusts between 30 and 35 miles an hour. There is that persistent danger of some fire spread with that wind, and we could also see some patchy blowing dust. And we'll have your complete weather forecast coming up a little bit later on in our newscast. And for those watching on our Facebook, tune in to Local-Tel Channel 12 or Charter Channel 19, or you can stream us live at ncwlife.com for the full evening newscast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. We'll take you on a tour of the new Parkside Mental Health Crisis Center in Wenatchee. Crews work on containing a prescribed burn that spread to private land, and we'll have a roundup of area events happening for you this weekend. Later on, we'll have sports, your weather forecast, and our feature story today. But first, an update tonight in the death of a toddler who was run over by a vehicle earlier this week. The accident happened in East Wenatchee on Tuesday involving a pickup truck and a 19-month-old child. According to a press release from Sheriff Harvey Jesdahl, an investigation revealed that the father of the child was parked in the driveway of the residence located in the 2800 block of Northwest Empire Street, while the mother was loading boxes into another vehicle. Unbeknownst to either parent, their 19-month-old child had gotten out of the house, and as the father started to back out, the toddler ran behind the pickup and was run over. The child was driven to Central Washington Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries, and deputies determined following the investigation that the incident was a very tragic accident. Dawn Souls, the woman convicted as an accomplice in the 1984 murder of her ex-husband Stephen Smith of Kashmir, awaits her fate as Superior Court Judge Leslie Allen decides her sentence. Sentencing was scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon, but at news time we received no word on what sentence Judge Allen handed down. Souls is the former wife of Bernard Swaim, who was originally charged with first-degree murder but was found not guilty at his trial back in August. Souls was also charged with rendering criminal assistance in Smith's murder, but testified against Swaim as the prosecution's star witness. Her testimony was discredited by witnesses for the defense, and she subsequently changed her plea to guilty after Swaim was acquitted. Construction continues on a new mental crisis care unit for Chelan, Douglas, and Grant counties. NCW Life's Steve Hare tells us more.
Work is progressing on schedule for a new mental health care crisis center in Wenatchee. Construction crews have been hard at work on the property previously occupied by the Parkside Nursing Home on Wenatchee's south side. The facility will be operated by the behavioral health organization serving Chelan, Douglas, and Grant counties. NCW Live News received a tour of the property, and we spoke with Douglas County Commissioner Dan Sutton and Chelan County Commissioner Doug England about the work in progress.
Well, I'm happy to see it progressing. We're pretty close to following the timeline, and it's a component of our healthcare in this community that's been missing. So we're able to establish a point of healthcare for people with mental illness or behavioral issues other than the jail or the emergency room. And so it's a much needed component.
It was identified early on, and not just a shortage, but a critical shortage of this type of facility. It contributed much to the cost of providing mental health, but also just the convenience and the availability of mental health. And so the state, although we have complained about them in a number of issues, they have been very, very helpful at the ground level of assuring us the type of material that had to be used, everything down to the kind of paint, to the kind of door handles, to the kind of windows, all those kind of things done for a very conveniently at the ground level, and so we were able to include that in. And as Lincoln and Forte Architecture did their plans, they worked lockstep with them, and so it's kind of automatic approval of the facility that has to be done when it's done. But we're very, very specific, and we were very happy that it was done that way.
Well, definitely there's a crisis, and this is just a microcosm of what's a national problem with mental health. But certainly having something like this eases the burden, I guess, on emergency rooms at hospitals and jails too.
Oh, absolutely. One of the benefits of this is being able to intercede before they get into the jail system, giving them the help and care that they need prior to being incarcerated. Perhaps you can prevent a long-term issue with incarceration if you can intercede early.
The new crisis care unit is slated for opening in March. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Coming up, crews work on containing a prescribed burn that spread to private land, and we'll have a roundup of events for you this weekend. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and Local Public House, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
From the NCW Life One That Got Away file, firefighters are continuing the remaining containment efforts needed to stop new growth on the 541-acre Chumyan fire located 9 miles northeast of Leavenworth. The Chumyan fire started on September 30th as the U.S. Forest Service conducted a prescribed burn. Officials say it accidentally slopped over onto private Weyerhaeuser timberland. Pending favorable weather conditions, crews may conduct approximately 100 acres of burnout operations designed to remove grasses and woody debris that could allow the fire to continue spreading toward the south. Incident Commander Jesse Stone said mop-up efforts are ongoing and that they expect full containment very soon. Chelan County Commissioner Keith Gaynor says prescribed fires such as those currently being conducted on the National Forest are useful in reducing fuels for future wildfires. But the District 2 Commissioner says more is needed.
But they really aren't getting anywhere near the amount of acreage that they really need to make it a sustainable program. But any progress that they make is great, and I support that. But it's just interesting because when the smoke appears, even though we say, how do you want your smoke in smaller amounts? Well, any seems to be too much. So we need to make adjustments ourselves to be more encouraging of the Forest Service to be more proactive than even they are. But I appreciate the efforts that they're making.
Commissioners say they support efforts on the congressional level to increase forest fire prevention efforts, including prescribed burns and timber thinning projects. Flood repair work is planned to begin this month on 6 Forest Service roads located on the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest. These roads had received significant damage from fall of 2015 and spring of 2016 because of heavy snow melt-off and rain events that caused debris flows, road washouts, and other damage on roads and other areas of the forest. Officials say work started on the north end of the forest on the Methow Valley Ranger District's Cougar Creek Road this month, with work on Black Canyon Roads number 4010 to follow after that. Over $1.1 million in contract administration for this work has been received through a partnership with the Federal Highway Administration. During construction and repairs, expect heavy equipment and trucks along these roads, and short-term closures are anticipated for some road work. The Wenatchee community turned out last night for a school board candidate forum at John Newberry Elementary School. All 5 of the candidates vying for 3 open board seats participated. Position 3 incumbent Claudia DeRobles and her challenger Sunny Hemphill, Position 4 candidate Michelle Sandberg, who is running unopposed, and Position 4 incumbent Jennifer Talbot and her opponent Sarah Knox. Voting in the November 7th election begins October 20th when ballots are mailed out. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
So, how you guys doing?
My job starts in Portland in a month.
Can we find a buyer that fast? I think we're good. Our CBX app tells us who the best potential buyers are. We can pinpoint where the hottest prospects are located, right on this map.
2 cities over.
It even lets us set the most accurate price. Wow, it really does all that. It really does all that.
Well, help us pack?
We're working on that.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a good Thursday evening. Let's take a look at the prep calendar for today. It is a busy one. First of all, in high school soccer, Kashmir takes its 6-3 season record on the road to Okanagan to take on the 6-4 Bulldogs. Chelan, meanwhile, is at Cascade, where the Kodiaks hope to remain unbeaten in Caribou Trail League play. In the B's, it's Oroville at Manson to take on the Trojans. Both teams kind of struggling with 1 win so far in B League play. Meanwhile, tonight at the Apple Bowl, it is West Valley and Wenatchee, a battle of 1-2 in the Big Nine. We'll have it here for you live with myself and Matt Wiesen on the call on the NCW Life channel. Also tonight, Eastmont is home to take on the Moses Lake Chiefs. Both teams are 4-2 in the Big Nine. On the volleyball courts tonight, here is the battle of the season. It is Cascade hosting Chelan. Both teams 3-0 in Caribou Trail League play. Chelan 7-1 on the season. The Kodiaks 8-0. That big tilt at Peshastin, or actually up in Leavenworth, will take place at 6:30 tonight. Also in volleyball, Kashmir is on the road at Okanagan. Liberty Bell will travel to Waterville Mansfield, and a couple of teams that have struggled so far this season. And in a mismatch, it's Lake Roosevelt at Manson. The Raiders 7-1, the Trojans 1-5. Also Wenatchee on the road for a very tough tilt as the Panthers take on the West Valley Rams. That at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, Eastmont is hosting Moses Lake, and a couple of teams with 3 wins on the season. Other prep action today in the swimming and diving competition. Wenatchee hosting Hanford, while Davis, Sunnyside, and Eisenhower all at Eastmont. Slow pitch softball. Wenatchee home today at the Wenatchee Valley College Softball Complex as the Davis Pirates come to town. Wenatchee 8-0 on the season, getting ready for that doubleheader. It's also hockey night tonight here on the NCW Life channel with the Wenatchee Wild taking on the Cowichan, I want to say that right, the Cowichan Valley Capitals. All right, I got that right here this time around. That starts at 7 o'clock with the call of the Wild as Arch Ecker will sit down with the head coach of the Wild, Bliss Littler, to talk about, what's happened in the past and what's coming up in this week's opponents. Tonight broadcast features incredible game by Jasper Weatherby.
You know, he had some success last year, but it's fun to watch him kind of just transform into being a bit role player into being the role that he's in right now, where he's one of our leaders and a guy that we count on for offense. And he's come a long ways, and he's doing a great job.
The Wild have a tough road trip this weekend, meanwhile, with games at Chilliwack on Friday, Powell River on Saturday, then Cowichan Valley on Sunday. Arch asked Littler how he gets the club prepared for all 3 opponents.
Right now, our focus is on Chilliwack. And, I know that a lot of guys are probably looking forward to playing in Paul River. But no doubt the Chilliwack's been our number one rival, and we want to keep our attention on Chilliwack. And when we're down with Chilliwack, then we'll give them the game plan for Paul River, and then we'll worry about Sunday.
Hockey night tonight. Be sure and watch it all, including Clarkie's Corner. It all begins at 7 o'clock here on the NCW Life channel. As you mentioned, that soccer game, we're not live. We're live with the cameras tonight. We'll have that on a tape delay here on the NCW Life channel. Arizona tied a record previously set in 1903 with 4 triples as the D-backs held off Colorado in the National League wildcard game last night. 11-8 the final. Archie Bradley, an Arizona relief pitcher, had the biggest of the triples coming in the bottom of the 7th with 2 runners aboard. His team clinging to a 6-5 lead. Arizona added another 2-run triple in the 8th for good margin. D-backs now advance to the NLDS against Los Angeles Dodgers on Friday. American League Divisional Series getting underway today. That's sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCW Life channel. Thanks for watching. And Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, you won't have to look very hard because there's something for everybody. This Saturday, the Wenatchee Valley College Alumni Association will host the 3rd annual Night Fright Ride and Run to raise money for Wenatchee Valley College students in crisis. The ride and run will start at 10 a.m. at Walla Walla Point Park. Participants are invited to wear costumes for either the 5K run and walk or the 10-mile bike ride around the Apple Capitol Loop Trail. The Knight's Care Fund can cover expenses for students dealing with homelessness, a car breaking down, or simply not enough money to pay the family grocery bill, ensuring that the student is able to stay in school. Last year, the Knight's Care Fund supported 25 Wenatchee Valley College students. And speaking of Wenatchee Valley College, the former owners of the medical and welding supply company Norco Incorporated have given $15,000 to set up a scholarship fund for welding students at Wenatchee Valley College. Fran and Larry Kistler, owners of Norco Incorporated from 1968 to 1985 before selling to their son Jim, established the Kistler Family Foundation, which will provide financial assistance to any students pursuing either a short-term welding program or the 1-year certification course. The money will come in the form of 2 $1,500 scholarships, which will be awarded annually. The welding program at Wenatchee Valley College trains individuals to weld in construction, repair, maintenance, and fabrication fields. Norco Incorporated is headquartered in Boise, Idaho, and operates over 45 stores across 7 western states. Also this weekend, making the final stop of his listening tour, Senator Brad Hawkins will host a community hike at the Saddle Rock Gateway this Saturday, where he will be joined by Governor Jay Inslee. Attendees can hike the trail with the politicians and can talk along the way. For those wanting to attend, you could meet at the Gateway at 1130 Circle Street at 9 a.m. And finally, if you're looking to get out of town, head up to Lake Chelan for the 8th annual Mahogany and Merlot Vintage Hydroplane Boat and Car Shows. That's this Saturday and Sunday at Lakeside Marina. Mahogany and Merlot Vintage Boat and Car Show is an on-the-water boat show and is a free, family-friendly event. Once again, classic cars will be showcased on the shore, along with on-the-water vintage unlimited hydroplanes, vintage inboard limited class hydroplanes, and antique and classic mahogany runabouts from the golden era of pleasure boating. And we do want to thank Go Lake Chelan for that great footage of last year's event. We'll be back in just a moment with a recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Romaine Electric in Wenatchee is your one-stop repair shop for all your auto, marine, small engine, or heavy-duty truck electric motor needs. Does your battery need to be replaced? Their technicians will have you up and running. The diagnostic team at Romaine Electric identifies and repairs all electrical issues from farm, truck, marine, industrial, diesel, ATV, and PWC. Romaine Electric in the Industrial Park off Ferry Street and Wenatchee Avenue. Stop by or give them a call today at 663-8150.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
Pets are not your whole life, but they do make your life whole. At Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital, not only do they understand that fact, they live it every day. Dr. Baez and her staff at Paws and Claws love dogs and cats so much they've dedicated their lives to the well-being of our four-legged friends. They offer compassionate care with a personal touch. Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital on the corner of 4th and Nile in East Wenatchee, or call 888-PAWS.
And now a recap of some of our top stories. An update tonight in the death of a toddler who was run over by a vehicle earlier this week. The accident happened in East Wenatchee on Tuesday involving a pickup truck and a 19-month-old child. According to a press release from Sheriff Harvey Jesdal, an investigation revealed that the father of the child was parked in the driveway of the residence located in the 2800 block of Northwest Empire Street while the mother was loading boxes into another vehicle. Unbeknownst to either parent, their 19-month-old child had gotten out of the house, and as the father started to back out, the toddler ran behind the pickup and was run over. The child was driven to Central Washington Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries, and deputies determined following the investigation that the incident was a very tragic accident. Dawn Souls, the woman convicted as an accomplice in the 1984 murder of her ex-husband, Stephen Smith of Kashmir, awaits her fate as Superior Court Judge Leslie Allen decides her sentence. Sentencing was scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon, but at news time we received no word on what sentence Judge Allen handed down. Souls is the former wife of Bernard Swaim, who was originally charged with first-degree murder but was found not guilty at his trial back in August. Souls was also charged with rendering criminal assistance in Smith's murder, but testified against Swaim as the prosecution's star witness. Her testimony was discredited by witnesses for the defense, and she subsequently changed her plea to guilty after Swaim was acquitted. Well, from the NCW Life One That Got Away file, firefighters are continuing the remaining containment efforts needed to stop new growth on the 551-acre Chumyan fire that's located 9 miles northeast of Leavenworth. The Chumyan fire started on September 30th as the U.S. Forest Service conducted a prescribed burn. Officials say it accidentally slopped over onto private Weyerhaeuser timberland. Pending favorable weather conditions, crews may conduct approximately 100 acres of burnout operations that's designed to remove grasses and woody debris that could allow the fire to continue spreading toward the south. Incident Commander Jesse Stone said mop-up efforts are ongoing and that they expect full containment very soon. Chelan County Commissioner Keith Gaynor says prescribed fires such as those currently being conducted on the National Forest are useful in reducing fuels for future wildfires. But the District 2 Commissioner says more is needed.
But they really aren't getting anywhere near the amount of acreage that they really need to make it a sustainable program. But any progress that they make is great, and I support that. But it's just interesting because when the smoke appears, even though we say, how do you want your smoke in smaller amounts? Well, any seems to be too much. So we need to make adjustments ourselves to be more encouraging of the Forest Service to be more proactive than even they are. But I appreciate the efforts that they're making.
Commissioners say they support efforts on the congressional level to increase forest fire prevention efforts, including prescribed burns and timber thinning projects. And now your weather forecast for north central Washington. But before we get to that, let's once again take a beautiful look outside our weather window at the Columbia River in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. What a beautiful day today with sunny skies and light winds. Just a shroud of haze out there today from the Chumyan fire we talked about, as well as some other prescribed burns around north central Washington. But I think all in all, for the first part of October, we will take today's weather. And what we're seeing at the surface right now across the country, it's fairly quiet here in the west, but not so much still in Montana, where they are continuing to see rain and a little bit of snow in that part of the country. Also, a large area of low pressure is draped across the central U.S., bringing a few showers there. And we have high pressure here in the western U.S. as we take a look at our satellite loop. A great shot of that big dome of high pressure over us right now. Dry and mild October weather will continue due to a strong area of high pressure that you see firmly anchored over the Pacific Northwest. The high pressure will give way to a strong cold front you can also see off the Pacific coast. That will be late Friday and into Friday night. The front and associated weather system will be mainly a wind event for us here in the Wenatchee Valley, but could also bring a good chance of maybe some light precipitation and snow to the Cascade Crest and the mountains of northeast Washington. Slightly cooler weather is expected through the weekend, with snow showers likely over the mountains and windy conditions for most of our area through Saturday. Wind gusts on Friday and Saturday could top out at around 25 to 35 miles per hour. Another ridge of high pressure then over the eastern Pacific will nose inland by Monday, and that will bring us drier and slightly warmer weather conditions through all of next week. Here's a look at that forecast tonight. Expect fairly cool temperatures, about 46 for our overnight low tonight, 68 your high for Friday. And remember, lots of wind tomorrow, Friday night, and almost all of Saturday as well, before things calm down a little bit by Sunday, where we'll see 67 for our high, and we'll stay pretty much in the mid to upper 60s throughout the first part of next week. But look at those low temperatures. By Wednesday night, we could drop down for the first time to 39 degrees. And closing out our newscast tonight, we all have that one friend who helps us out when we're just not quite getting it. And if you have a video of the day you'd like to see on NCW Life News, message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Is this really what we're going to do on our girls' night out? We should go to Club Crow. The bar and grill in Kashmir? Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Kashmir is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Kashmir, the coolest place in town.
Hey everyone, Frank Ferrari here at Frank's Used Cars, where everybody gets a good deal. Today's deal is F-150 under 300,000 miles. Yesterday, $55.95. Today, it's only $213. At this price, this thing won't last long. Hurry on down to Frank Ferrari's Used Cars, where everybody gets a good deal. Right, Fred? Forget about Frank. Here at Town Nissan, we're fun, we're fair, and we're fabulous. Town Nissan, behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Who had the reception, and now he collects the touchdown. Got on goal, Wenatchee scores. Reagan lines up the three. Yes! Oh my goodness! To figure out where the West fighting on the bottom, and he got the pin. Swung on and hit hard to left field. Caught out there in left field. The shot is over. And Wenatchee Valley wins it.
On the NCW Life channel, your local TV station.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.